what ended up happening is we were going through a checklist of where we wanted to stay, and one thing led to another, and we decided that this was a great place. So stick with us for a couple minutes, and we'll tell you why living in Puerto Vallarta is an amazing place to live.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Raccuia
And I'm Mark Raccuia, and we live in Puerto Vallarta.
in a little colonia or neighborhood called Cinco de Diciembre.
And we moved here for a month just to kind of unwind after COVID. And
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And then what ended up happening is we were going through a checklist of where we wanted to stay, and one thing led to another, and we decided that this was a great place. So stick with us for a couple minutes, and we'll tell you why living in Puerto Vallarta is an amazing place to live.
Yeah, we're pretty much happily stuck here.
Absolutely. So in September of 2020, we could finally escape Malaysia because it was under COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
But when we left, we came back to the States, and we bumped around for about 5 months.
Unsure, we just didn't know what we wanted to do.
I didn't know where we were going to live and where we were going to work, etc., or how we were going to work, I should say, more than anything.
Or if we were going to go back to Malaysia.
Yeah.
We really didn't know.
Right. So after a few months of bumping around, we decided to just take a month in Mexico and figure it out. And then we started to, go through the process and realize, hey, this is a great place. But there were definitely some challenges that we had to overcome from the beginning.
I think for me, the biggest thing was the price difference between Malaysia and Mexico. I mean, living so close to America, there's a lot of Americans here. And because of that, the prices are a little bit higher than they would be in Asia.
Yeah.
Still much cheaper than America, but much more expensive than Malaysia. Well, not much more, but more expensive than Malaysia.
Yeah, most specifically, the housing expense is significantly more here than it was in Malaysia. Like we're paying more than twice what we did there, and it's still not a lot of money by today's terms,
especially
in the States. Yeah.
So I think that was a bit of a shock for me. It was like looking at apartments and trying to find one that we felt was the right one for us and the right neighborhood for us that wasn't so touristy, but also gave us the sense of like community here where we are going to have people we could speak Spanish with or try to speak Spanish with. And so that was important for us. So I think we struggled a little bit finding an apartment at the beginning, but then once we got the hang of it, we found a beautiful place.
Yeah. So Puerto Vallarta has so many great things to do and so many things that we really appreciate. Personally, one of my favorite things is that this time of year, especially from November-ish to about March, we get the whales. So like every day we sit as we're eating lunch, and we could look out over the ocean, and every now and then we get to watch whales while we're having lunch or dinner, which is magical.
So incredible.
And then oftentimes when friends come to visit, or sometimes just because it's the weekend, we'll go hop on a boat and go on a whale watching tour. It just doesn't get old. It's really a fantastic thing to do.
I don't know if you just heard of that. That's our water delivery guy. So one of the things that we also really like about this neighborhood is that there's a water delivery guy. He comes in a truck, he screams like CL, which is the name of the water company, and then everybody runs out and tells him how many bottles of water we want, and they deliver it. Same thing goes for bread. Same thing goes for plants. You hear this guy coming down the street with plants, and he's screaming, if you want roses or what kind of plants you want, and he brings them to your door. I mean, there's this beautiful kind of old school, old world charm here that still exists, even though this is a pretty small size city, large size town.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And depending on the neighborhood, there's even more delivery guys. Like I know where our friends live, they get a fish guy and even a beef guy, which is, and there's also people that sell empanadas and elote. I mean, the list goes on. It's pretty cool.
And we have a really nice community of friends here. And in Penang, we had a lot of friends that were either just coming there for a couple years for their contracts, or we had retired friends, but not a lot of people in the middle who were working, and that's kind of us. And so here we have a big tribe of people that are here working, living full time, and kind of spread out throughout the city. But it's kind of a totally different crew of friends, And we still like the building that we live in is mostly retirees. There's a few people who work here, so it's a bit different, but it's a great difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the food. I love the
The
food.
food, I mean,
It's Mexico. How can you not love tacos, right?
From the dollar tacos to the very expensive seafood dinners paired with wine, etc. You can't really miss a beat here when it comes to the food scene.
Yeah.
We have amazing, chefs that work in 5-star restaurants, and some pretty damn amazing chefs that are on the corner making some of the tastiest street tacos. Whether it's really it's a great mix here, and a lot of international restaurants too. So it's not like a one-note thing like other countries like we visited in the past, where it's really just a handful of international foods. Here you can get everything and done very well.
Yeah. And I think another thing that I love about it here is how happy it is. Like, everybody is happy. It's a big resort town. So there are people coming here for a vacation, and when you're on vacation, like, you're extremely happy. Who isn't, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of feeds into the whole culture here.
Yeah, it's like a confluence of a never-ending stream of happy people visiting, and just that energy, it helps elevate the energy of everybody in the community. We love it. After working, we'll walk down by the Malecón, and all the fresh tourists that just got off the plane, you can tell they've had a day in the sun because they're already bright red, thinking that they came from Iowa, they don't need to put sunscreen on, and they learned that they need to put sunscreen on. But it is always a fun thing to do, to see that the energy and enthusiasm of people, and it helps you in just being around a constant supply of positive energy and being close to the water. We're literally a half mile away, not even. We're a 5-minute walk, directly toes in the sand. And if you put your hand up at the same time, you probably have someone put a drink in it if you want. It is a pretty unique environment here. Yeah. So when we were evaluating the things that were most important to us to have a long-term residency, we basically boiled it down to 5, maybe 6 things. And I think the first thing for us, after living in Malaysia, which was a 42-hour door-to-door trip, was to be able to live someplace that would be close to our family, within a day to travel to them. And this definitely checks that box. We got an international airport. Under 8 hours, we're back home, as opposed to literally 42 hours door to door.
Makes it a lot easier. And to be on the same kind of time zone, so that we could just pick up the phone and call our family whenever we want to, and our friends whenever we want to. It definitely has changed our, I think it changed our relationships a little bit, back to kind of being a little bit closer. It's not that we lost touch when we were in Malaysia, but we were just so far away that the hours never worked. Whenever I wanted to call my mom, I couldn't talk to her. It was it was the middle of the night. It was
13-hour difference is a lot of hours, and you really had to be strategic and plan when you were going to talk to people. Now it's just like being next door, which was awesome. And the other thing that was really important to both of us is that the infrastructure here was good enough so that we could work online full-time, no problems, and that is definitely not a case here. Our internet speed here is fantastic, just as good as it was back in the States. I'd probably say faster, but it's been 10 years since I've lived in Chicago, so I'm certain it got better there. But here, absolutely easy here,
And I think, also we wanted a place where we wouldn't have to go and do visa runs or anything like that. We wanted to make sure that we would have like a path to either a long-term residency So right now we're in our second year of it'll be 4 years and we'll have permanent residency here. So that's something that we're excited about.
And we had that in Southeast Asia, but they changed the rules and they made things really complicated. Here,
not for us. We had our
but they made it very complicated. And here, Mexico is a country that understands commerce and knows to attract people here without creating a lot of problems for their expat crowd. So, thank you, Mexico, for that. And I think the other thing that I may have forgot to mention is we just wanted to have an ocean that we could swim in. I mean, we lived in Malaysia and we loved it there, but you couldn't swim in that water because it was a channel that was for shipping. So the water, it looked good, but it wasn't so good on the skin.
This is way better. I mean, you go down to the beach and there's people, like, if you go down there with your backpack or a picnic, someone will say, do you want a chair? Do you want an umbrella? They'll bring you that. If you don't have any food, they'll bring you ceviche, you want a taco, they'll bring it to you. If you want, I mean, it's kind of like you can go as prepared as you want to be or unprepared completely, and you will get whatever you want. And so it's one of those, like, there's a culture around the beach here. Plus at sunset, everybody goes to the beach and sits and watches the magnificent western sunsets, which are just like out of this world. So.
And I think maybe the last thing that was important too, we're both healthy, but we wanted to have easy, affordable health care, because we did also have that in Malaysia, and it's so great. And that's really a quality of life thing, because so many people in the States struggle to stay healthy, and they have to make a choice. Am I going to pay my mortgage, or am I going to go see the doctor? That's not the problem here. I mean, we're very fortunate. We have Mexican, insurance that covers us here, and it is affordable for the two of us. It's only $3,300, and it's a very
for the year.
For the year, yeah.
Both of us.
And it's a comprehensive policy, but it doesn't cover all the little minuscule things. But if you need to go see a doctor here, you can go see a doctor and get a prescription for under $50, and I've had it done for under $20. So it really depends. But it's medicine is far different here, and even dentistry.
Yeah, you can go to the dentist here for between $25 and $40 and get amazing cleaning in a super high-tech office, and it compares to anything that you would get back in the States, and it's $25 to $40.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of.
And with top-notch equipment always, not like stuff from World War II. One of the other things that we wanted from a new location to live was that it could be affordable, so we could save even more for retirement, because retirement's not that far away for me, far further away from my wife.
Right. I'm not so happy about that.
but so and this is a very affordable place to live. So we found that we live on about half of what our budget was in Chicago in 2013 when we left. So my guess is it's probably at about 35 or 40% of what it costs now to live in Chicago. Like, one of the things that I think we discussed in the past was about housing. Our housing is $1,600, and we live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, which we will show you, of course. But what's important about that is that if you didn't care about that second bathroom, you could probably save about a third of that rent. We wanted to have that second bathroom, and we wanted to have some amenities. Our place has got a pool, it's got a deck, it's got a rooftop deck bar,
and a
hot tub. It's a pretty nice place, and it's for $1,600. When I take that and look at what our apartments are, what we're getting in rent back in the States, we're getting a far better deal here. I would say that the same apartment, if it could have one, would have to be $3,500 to $4,000 in the States. So, at
least in Chicago.
Yeah, at least in Chicago. Yeah. I don't know everywhere. I'm certain. Actually, I could tell you if it was in Tampa or someplace in Florida, it would be every bit of that and probably 10% more, if not more. But so the affordability of living, which is typically your biggest expense, is really still very affordable here.
Yeah, and one of the things that we love also is the affordability of the food. So we go to get our fresh produce or our fish, we go to a market about 5 blocks away from here, and for a huge bag of fresh vegetables and fruit, it's about $30 a week for us.
Yeah.
And then we also get fresh fish there. So they'll come in with this a huge tuna they just caught today, and we tell them what we want, and it's about $7 a pound for like sushi grade, gorgeous tuna. And shrimp, the same thing. We go there, we get shrimp, and they're about, we get them like that big, right? And they're about, what do we say, under $5 a pound.
Yeah, under $5, and they'll take them, they'll clean them, they'll devein them and everything right there on the spot. So you pick them, they'll take care of that while you're shopping for other stuff. Come back and it's all cleaned up, and it's really
super fresh.
Yeah, and you can get every kind of fish, and you can get every kind of seafood. If you want lobster, langosta, like any kind of clam,
right?
You name it, oyster, it's all there. So.
And then for our like meat, we go to Costco, which is lovely having a Costco here. I'm not gonna lie. Things like you can get your wines there, your alcohol there, all your meat. They have really good. We like the meat there, so that's where we get our meat.
And there's definitely local butchers that people in our
Absolutely.
building use, and we've used, and it's pretty good. But normally we'll get a big piece of beef and break it down ourselves because we like to do that. We got used to doing that in Malaysia, and the local Mexican grocery offerings are really good too. They have some.
We have 3 here.
Yeah.
Right, 3 different ones within a mile.
Yeah, and
4.
Four. Okay,
Sorry.
and they go from very basic to very fancy, like a Whole Foods. And that carry a lot of international products, so you're never in need for it.
Anything.
And between the Costco, Sam's Club, and Walmart, you can get all that stuff, and so it's all there.
Right. We probably spend most of our time either at the local grocery stores and the local market, and then once in a while we'll go for a big shop at Costco.
Yeah. Mostly meat and wine and liquor.
Yeah, so you can really get whatever you want, and if you're looking for a specific brand, you can generally get it here. It definitely, if they're importing it, there's more of a cost to it than it would be in the States, but it's still the brand. If you're looking for a specific brand, you can get it.
Find it. There's a bunch of little gourmet shops too that you can get stuff.
And then the restaurants here. I mean, we go out for dollar tacos regularly, and whenever somebody comes, we take them to all our favorite taco stands, and we have a taco, and then we go somewhere we have a beer, and then we go have a taco, then we have a beer.
You have to take them on a taco tour.
Yeah, and it's just our own personal taco tour. But I mean, so that's like $1, and the whole night, you spend $10 for the night, eating. Yeah. It's nothing. And maybe not 10. I can never eat 10 tacos.
No.
Anyway, I get 3 max.
But the drink in between.
Okay. So then, also you can go to a super fancy 5-star.
Yeah, they have like some really amazing like I don't think they're Michelin.
They don't have Michelin star here.
But they have some 5-star restaurants that are fantastic that do wine pairings.
Yeah, you can spend hundreds of dollars at those.
This is a place where a lot of wealthy people come, so they have plenty of restaurants to accommodate the wealthiest and the most, finicky, taste buds for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of vegan restaurants popping up around here.
Yeah, our neighborhood in particular is full of them, which is crazy.
Right, they happen to be next to the butcher shop, but whatever. But still, I mean, you really get a chance of having it all here if that's what you want. If you can't find it here, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Or you haven't been here long enough.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's it. So.
Well, to summarize it all, Puerto Vallarta is a fantastic place to live. There's a lot of reasons for it, between the wonderful weather, the fantastic food,
the energy,
the great people, the ocean.
The ocean is so beautiful.
The cost of living and the lifestyle. I mean, any and all of those are a fantastic reason to be here. I would say come and check it out for yourself, and look us up when you're here.
Yeah, come visit us. Everyone else is anyway.